Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is the Ramble. See, it says Alex, that's me. We'll be here till midnight tonight, Eastern time. And here we are. Finally, we're on tonight. We're actually on. There isn't one thing screwing up like crazy, and we're going to make things a little bit better. Let me see here. I got to do something here, and I'm trying to remember how I do it. Yeah, we do that. And then we let's see here. We do, let me see. I got to get the thing right here. Yeah, I got to do it right. There we go. And here's our old friend. What? Are you holding us up? Oh, you're in a restaurant, I see.
I'm having dinner with Gavin Newsom, but I'm the only one that's wearing a mask.
Oh, I see.
That's the French Laundry. And at $1,000 a plate, this is about as close as I'm ever going to get to it.
Did I go to the French Laundry? I'm trying to remember. Where's the French Laundry? It's in Napa, right? Yeah, I think I went to the French Laundry.
Yeah, it's been open.
I don't know if I remember. Okay. Anyway, hello, Phil. How are you? I thought we'd start off the show with Phil tonight. We were supposed to start it off with him last night. Then his end of it screwed up, and then my end of it screwed up, and everything became a big cluster, you know what.
Yeah, I just couldn't get on GabNet. I could get on everything else. I figured it was a setting in the computer, so I immediately went and rebooted and pulled out cables, pushed in cables, went to the firewall, turned it off. I didn't know. So it looks like, I missed the meal last night.
Yeah. Well, then I had a problem. Why don't you turn off that background? Because it's not exactly the finest key around.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's the free.
It's the built-in one, which would never quite, adjust itself right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Don't you know how to get rid of it? Now you see you're stuck in that restaurant for the rest of your life.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Is there? Oh, here. I've got
No. That's not what you wanted. Yeah,
that's Nancy Pelosi getting a haircut.
Oh, geez.
No mask. I got a mask. Let me turn that one off too.
Yeah. Okay, turn that one off too. Just go to none. There's a none there.
At first, I had to find the preferences.
Yeah.
I was reading something this morning that backgrounds and filters, none.
There you go.
Yeah, I was reading something this morning that the radiation treatments for people with prostate cancer actually give them brain fog and memory issues.
Well, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm sure. I don't know. This many months later.
Yeah, people in a forum they posted about it, and I guess that these are issues that the doctor doesn't actually tell you that there's a possibility you might get.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm getting it.
You're getting it. I've had it. I am so tired all the time now. And I think a lot of it is COVID fatigue. I think that there is definitely a thing called COVID fatigue, and I think I'm just getting tired of being indoors all the time. I even when I go to sleep at night, I suddenly get really depressed about this being stuck indoors all the time, and that it would be nice if Marjorie and I could go to Europe and have a little vacation, or go out to California and see you and all our friends, but we can't. We just can't. We can't leave the house, and it's getting worse here too. Not as bad as it is where you are. California is in really bad shape right now, but it's getting worse so bad that I was supposed to have my eyes operated on, and they're dripping like crazy today, but I wasn't going to go do it because I didn't want to take the chance of going into a hospital during this pandemic. Okay.
We've got Thanksgiving coming up.
Yeah.
Just to put in my usual digs, the elite in government that are telling us not to have parties with more than three people from the same household, to wear masks indoors if there are three couples in the same room. They're not doing it.
Well, we're playing it dangerous. We're having three other people over, but they're all people we know, and it's like one is Shecky, who never leaves the house,
Yeah.
okay, except to come here on Thanksgiving. The other one is Natasha, who is Marjorie's friend, who hasn't been out at all, okay. And then there's her friend, who is among other things, she helps old people exercise, so she has to get tested all the time. So
Sure.
she's okay. And then I've got my little, thermometer gun that where everybody coming in, I'm gonna, take their temperature. If that's okay, I think we're all right.
Just like at the store. I actually, I don't know how you've done the last 8 months indoors, or 7 months. I at least can go to work every day,
Mm-hmm.
and I can pretty much live a normal life. The things I miss the most is going to restaurants and sitting indoors,
Well,
and that's
you know
just
something, going to work may not be the best idea either.
I have to.
I know you. Well, you have to, but do you?
Well,
Let's
uh,
face it. We both had cancer. That we're
right.
compromised.
Well, my life would be over either way.
Yeah.
If I got the COVID and died, or if I went to work or didn't go to work and the store closed down. Either way, I'd be in bad shape. So my feeling is,
Well, I mean, be careful. Be careful.
oh yeah, I have one of those stations at the front door where people come in. They can take a mask, they can touch a sensor, a light sensor, and it gives them a squirt of hand lotion. I don't let more than three couples in the store at any one time.
Yeah.
I have 4,000 square feet of showroom.
And do you wear a mask while you're dealing with them?
Absolutely, everybody wears a mask.
Okay. I mean, if I'll tell you what happened to me yesterday. We were down at the drugstore, and they have this machine. I bought some candy, and I wanted to pay for it using my, my iPhone. And as I'm working with, there's a guy next to me suddenly going just absolutely batshit crazy, yelling and screaming at the guy, "You owe me money! I got stolen for money!" And the mask is falling down, and he's spitting everywhere. Luckily, he wasn't spitting in my direction, and I had my mask on. But geez, I feel like when I go out, it's a fucking landmine that I have to navigate landmines all around me, because there are people without masks. There's some people with masks. A lot more people are wearing masks now because they know things are getting worse. But geez almighty, this guy was just going crazy, and I've been paranoid that I'm going to come down with COVID now.
What's happening with the issue between Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo?
There's nothing between them.
Yeah, one de Blasio says he's closing down the schools.
Yeah.
Cuomo says, no, you're not.
No. Quite the opposite. Cuomo has said that it is up to the local jurisdictions to decide what they're going to do where the schools are concerned. De Blasio said that if it goes over a 3, okay, on the tests and so on, over 3%, that he's going to close the schools, and he did it. And today, I mean, Cuomo wasn't complaining about that at all. He said, "That's your call."
There was also a Cuomo news conference between he and a number of news people.
Yeah, he does that all the time.
Although this one, he started yelling at the reporter.
No, he did, because the guy asked him a question in a very kind of negative way, kind of a snarky way. And let's face it, Cuomo's a guy from Queens. He ain't going to take crap from nobody.
Kind of like,
huh?
Kind of like Trump.
No, not kind of like Trump. Trump is the sissy from Queens who had a very privileged life, who acts like he's a thug, but he really doesn't know how to be one.
Well, it's fun.
The Cuomo isn't thuggish, but he won't take crap from anyone. It's just the way he is, and that's what we love about him.
Well, the other good things in the news today, it looks like there are more votes for Trump in Georgia. They're finding them in backyards. They're finding them in the hay fields.
Come on.
I think he has pulled about 2,000.
Give it up. Biden's going to take Georgia anyway.
He may, but
no matter what they say they found, but I don't know where you're getting your news sources from. Everything we've heard is that as they've been recounting the votes in Georgia, because it was a mandatory recount,
right?
Nothing has changed.
Well, I have figured out how I can help Donald Trump.
What?
I have a uniform, and I want to be one of those vote counters down in Georgia. So in order to look like all the guys in Georgia, I just go like this.
Yeah, right.
And say, I want to count the votes.
Hey, if you went down there with those teeth, you'd probably win for senator in Georgia.
Yeah.
No, don't believe that stuff necessarily, Phil. What's happening is that for the most part, did you hear about Trump with Wisconsin? That he
wanted to
recount, and they said, well, you got to come up with $9,700 or something like that for the recount, because in that state they make the people who are asking for the recount, if it's not within a certain limit, to pay for it. So the Trump campaign couldn't come up with the 9,000, so they're giving them can't come up with the 9 million, 9.2 million. They can only come up with 2 million, so they're just doing 2 counties. And they're doing 2 counties that are primarily Democratic. I mean, it's really stupid.
Well, though, but that's where the fraud
Phil,
might.
Let me just ask you this. Come on, and be honest with us.
Huh?
Who's going to be inaugurated on the 20th of January?
I was hoping I would.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
It's a pretty good chance that that Donald Trump is not going to be in the White House on that date.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We know that to be true. And even if he discounts Georgia as an example, there's still enough votes there and electoral college votes to put Biden into office. He could also discount Wisconsin, and there'd still be enough.
Yeah. So people are saying if where there's smoke, there's fire, and Al Gore wanted a recount. Stacey Abrams.
Wait a minute. But in Al Gore's case, it was a different situation altogether. There were 500 votes in Florida. I think that demands a recount. Okay.
Oh,
yeah. So I don't think he was being pissy about it. That was going to be the make it or break it state. And it was so close to call that he was, questioning this. But I just think that Trump, if he would just want to do the country a favor, would say, okay, I'm out of here. He's out of there anyway. He hasn't been doing any work, hasn't had anything on his schedules for like 2 weeks.
Well, he's dealing with the COVID.
He's giving himself a personal pity party.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Hey, if it was my last month or so to ride around in Air Force One and get all those perks that the president gets, I'd be doing it too. I'm just wondering when he's going to start pardoning people, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing who he does pardon. Yeah. It won't be Hunter Biden, but hey, I sent you something on that Section 230.
Yeah, 230 is
1997 statute.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember exactly what did it say again.
It had to do with responsibility on the internet, Facebook, Twitter.
Oh yeah. What it was they relieved them of any responsibility.
Right.
Because they consider them a new media and a different kind of media. And, my feeling is on these guys, whether you like them or not, they built these companies from scratch. Okay. You'll grant me that. I mean, Facebook, what was it? It was 500 kids, and now it's how many millions of people.
Billions.
They have a right to do with their site what they want to. They can censor people, refuse to let people on, do whatever they want to. They could say tomorrow, we don't want the name Trump on our on Facebook. If you use the name Trump, well, they should be able to do that if they want to, and you should be able to not use Facebook.
Yes, but
You know.
you're a First Amendment proponent, right?
But the First Amendment does not apply to what we would call a billboard. It's a different kind of media. In other words, if you're talking about, to begin with, governmentally sanctioned organizations like radio stations, for instance, to get their licenses from the government, then you got a different story altogether. Okay, in this case, if Twitter doesn't want to have a certain kind of speech on their sites, they have a right to do that, I think.
They did, and they do.
And I don't know. The Republicans are the ones who are always saying, "Well, they have the right of blah 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 blah," and we don't want anybody to tell a business what to do, except us when we tell Facebook that they have to be nicer to Trump.
The Republicans that are censored. Huh? It's when the Ayatollah Khomeini comes down with all sorts of anti-Semitic remarks.
Yeah.
Even though he is Semitic, I guess. It comes down with all these anti-Semitic remarks. Those remarks are not singled out by Twitter or Facebook. Only remarks that lean to the president or conservative remarks. And there are many, many people that have been kicked off or censored on Facebook because of remarks that were right-leaning.
Well, I don't believe that to be true, to be honest with you. I think they were cut off for other reasons. Guys like Alex Jones, who were just proselytizing lies like crazy. Okay.
I'm not talking about big platforms like Alex Jones. I'm talking about regular guys.
Well, name me a case.
Well, there's a couple of friends of mine on Facebook that were cops, and they got 30-day censures. From Facebook.
Why?
I don't mention their names,
but why? What did they do?
Well, they posted right-leaning information. It wasn't anything that was inflammatory. It just maybe it was some facts that they believe to be true, and they posted them, and they ended up getting put in Facebook jail for 30 days.
Facebook jail. Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is that I just I think it's a big kerfuffle. I mean, what are you going to say? That they're going to bring the heads of Pauler in to question them about why they won't let the liberal voices speak on their site? I think they have a right to put on their site what they want to put on their site. Just like I have the right to put people on this program I don't want to put on this program.
No, you don't, because you put me on.
Well, I mean, I put you on, and God knows how much trouble you've gotten me into. I imagine some of the demonetization that I've gotten is because of you.
I don't curse.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. Yeah. I mean, you're looking at this whole situation now with Trump. Don't you kind of wish he would just concede, or if he's too proud to concede, at least just let Biden's people have some information on COVID and have access to the information that they need in order to do a seamless transition of power?
On the 13th of December, when Biden gets certified, I feel that at that point that, yes, Trump should concede and help with the transition of power. But until Biden is, what do you call it? And until he is certified, he hasn't won, and Trump is perfectly within his rights.
Well, you could say he's perfectly within his rights, but no, I will argue with you he's not perfectly within his rights. The fact of the matter is that transitions in the past have always been the day after the guy gets elected, the first thing he gets is a debriefing from the CIA. He gets the daily briefing that the president gets. Everything that he would need. And usually he's invited to the White House. We don't expect that out of Trump. He's given all kinds of things and a welcome and congratulations. There's
I can
you know there's
see
yet
one coming.
there's yet to be a single, I think, Republican senator who has congratulated Biden.
Really? I thought
No,
Mitt Romney would have.
no,
Oh, I know that he was called by Macron of France, and I know he's not. That's not a Republican senator,
no. But
but
Macron is a little cookie, isn't it?
macaroon.
Oh, that's a macaroon. Excuse
And,
me.
those are coming up for Hanukkah.
Are they
Uh,
really? Oh, okay.
anyway, you got 46 people viewing on
Oh
your.
yeah, yeah. You're very popular. I like this. I may do my show every night with you.
It's like
I just want to protect the rest of the people on the show from you.
instead of Tuesdays with
Yeah,
Maury,
yeah.
it Tuesdays with Phil.
Unless he can't get in, unless my situation doesn't break down. 2 nights in a row,
Hmm.
I had major technical problems. One of them on Friday the 13th. Go figure. Okay.
And that was GoDaddy
Huh?
having problems, or
No, that was my server over here, which serves out the programming and stuff. Just the whole thing went sideways.
not the Mac
And
Mini. Right? That's the Mac. That's not my
the Mac Mini. Yeah, yeah.
My old
It wasn't. But it wasn't the Mac Mini's fault. It was the fault of shifting over. It's a long story. But anyway, so I had a problem that night, and I just didn't go on because I had to take care of the problem. Last night, GoDaddy goes down. The whole company, the whole thing goes down. Everybody who's got a website on GoDaddy. There are thousands of people who have websites on GoDaddy. Nothing. Mail, nothing. Okay, wow. Everything that they were serving out, nothing. And I sat here, and what do I do? I'm like, well, you would be. First, I blame myself. Okay, it must be my fault the mail isn't working. I didn't think it's probably GoDaddy. After I went off the air and then I did a lot of research going from machine to machine, I suddenly realized that only 2 of my mail servers were down. Then I went to go look at Gabnet, and it wasn't online. So I knew what it was. But, and then I tried to go on. I went on and I did a Facebook video from this other machine here, and then decided nobody was calling because it was just too late, and nobody was expecting me over there. So I just went off, and I went into the bedroom and laid down.
Yeah. Well, it's probably a good thing.
I'm tired all the time. I may get down to doing the show one day a week on Tuesdays with you. No, what?
This might be a temporary thing. If what I read this morning about the prostate cancer and the radiation, and being tired and having brain fog, and lack of short-term memory, I know that comes with age, but it also is exacerbated by the radiation.
Well, listen, I want to thank you because look at the amount of people who are watching right now.
That's not quite a. It's not quite a. What would you call it? Your top, but not bad.
Not bad at all. Anyway, I will talk to you when we do this again next week. This is always fun to hear how you feel about what's going down. But
maybe we'll get closer to seeing Biden riding in Air Force One.
And by the way, I think you're going to like Biden as president.
One other thing.
Yeah.
I need you to send me a Ronnie picture because I couldn't pull anything off of her site.
Oh, okay.
I am doing a GoFundMe, which I will fund with not only the loss that I had to Robert, but I'll put more in on my own and try to get a few dollars towards cancer research in Ronnie's name.
That'd be very nice, Phil. Very nice of you. But then again, you're a nice guy anyway. What can I say?
Thank you very much.
Anyway, wave goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
There he goes, folks. One acceptable way we've seen to have Phil on this show now. Bye, Phil.
Bye.
Okay, there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. That's Phil, and he's our resident whatever. He just simply is. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. We have some people who are ready to come on here. Let me see here. Robert Natali. Let me see here. Here they go. There we go. There are our first three. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Natali and, excuse me, and Charlie Wallace is waiting to come on here. Oh, boy, my eyes are burning today. It's another one of those days. I give up on it. Let me see here. Oh, okay, and Jeff Stein's coming. Let's admit him to it. And how y'all doing, huh?
Good.
Haven't seen
Good.
you in a while.
Yeah.
Man, I've had...
Monday was fine.
Huh?
Yeah, Monday was fine.
Monday we did our little Monday show, and that was fine. But, you know, I do that from another machine, and I do that directly onto Facebook, and it really doesn't involve GoDaddy at all in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, I had a lot of trouble with... last night, that was just, you know, and when I've got it like my mail isn't working or something isn't working, I find it hard to do a program and worry about why that isn't working, you know. And then on top of it, it wasn't putting up my website where the video of this show is found, you know, as well. So that's the reason we weren't on last night, you know. But I know my eyes have been burning all day again. They stopped burning, and now they're burning again. And I really wish I could get that operation, but I can't because I'm just, the numbers are getting too high here in New York for me to do anything. I'm afraid to go out the front door. As I told you yesterday, some guy was yelling at a salesperson right next to me at another cash machine at CVS and spitting and talking and everything, but he wasn't doing it in my direction, so I think I'm safe, and I had my mask on. So they say the mask protects you both ways, right, Brian?
Yeah, and you can imagine that. Remember, say it, don't spray it.
Yeah.
Remember that saying, say it, don't spray it?
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So anyway, but here in New York, I mean, we had 36 deaths yesterday. That's not good, you know. It's getting bad. It's bad over New Jersey, isn't it, Robert?
Yes, it is.
I mean, how bad? Do you know? You got any numbers on it?
No,
It's so
I really
bad.
don't. Except in my hometown, it's we've become something of a hotspot. There's a facility, senior facility here in town, and 53 people are at the very least quarantined, if not tested positive. So,
Wow.
that just adds to numbers that had been rising now for about a month anyway.
It's terrible, and it's what really gets to me are these governors who are now saying, "Oh, everybody better stay indoors." I don't think your governor's done it yet, has he, Charlie?
No, he hasn't.
Abbott hasn't done anything, and yet your infection rate is as high as it almost is anywhere in the country. I think the highest the highest infection rate anywhere in the country. Where would you think it is, folks? Any idea?
South Dakota.
South Dakota, or was it North Dakota? No, it was South Dakota.
South, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, when are they going to make them one state?
Blah, blah, blah.
They're enjoying the 4 senators.
Yeah, they're
Make
enjoying
California too.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got the highest. It's got something like 49% infection rate. That means 1 out of every 2 people has it in South Dakota.
Jeez.
One
Yeah,
out of every 2 tested. Yeah,
Tested.
Yeah, that are
Right.
tested.
Yeah.
there's
But-
a difference.
yeah,
Stop testing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
if you
Texas
stop
does.
testing,
Idiots don't test anybody.
yeah.
Then you don't know exactly.
yeah, that's
So we are
right.
purple. We are purple.
Oh,
We are purple tier now. So so they had, they were talking about the schools reopening in January if we were still orange or
Yeah.
yellow.
Yeah,
And then there's red, and then there's purple. I didn't know.
I
we
didn't
had
know there
purple.
was purple. We don't go into purple.
I thought we were okay, but yeah. So then we went into California, went into purple.
What does
Most of the
purple mean?
counties-
In that area, you just have to hold your breath all the time till you turn
Yeah.
purple.
Yeah, so we're all purple now, except for like San Francisco, San Mateo County, they're red, but doesn't matter. They're all surrounded by water or purple. So
Well, your progeny aren't going to school, right?
Yeah, they say December they'll make the decision, but they're going to make the decision on that tier, and I don't. There's no way. I don't know if they did it to really tell everybody to stay at home for Thanksgiving. I don't know if they pushed that out and said, "Hey, we're purple, so everybody stay home except for unless you're the governor." But everybody else don't do these big crowded Thanksgiving events.
Well, I think that if it's, you can have Thanksgiving in your home with your family
Oh, yeah.
because they're all in the bubble. I'm going to do it with some people I know because I know where they've been and what they've done. It's kind of like it's kind of like the old days with AIDS. You just don't have sex with anybody you don't know where they've been because you're having sex with everybody they've been with. Which I kind of like that idea because it upped my numbers. But so anyway, I think it's kind of just terrible what some of these governors did, and now they're backtracking. Now they're going, we got to close everything down. Well, if they'd done all this earlier, we wouldn't be where we are right now. But none of them want to admit that. None of them say, "Whoops, my bad." And least of all, of course, Donald Trump won't admit anything. He doesn't even talk about COVID anymore.
No.
Except to say, look, I invented the vaccine.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He did, sure.
I mean, come on. Believe me, he had nothing to do with the development of the vaccine, even though, for instance, in the case of Moderna, they were part of the warp speed thing. But all of these companies were looking for the cure, for the vaccine. And the reason they were looking for the vaccine is so you didn't have to convince them to go out and try and find a vaccine. They were on it probably last March.
It was just like the testing,
Yeah.
We've been doing this for 20 years, and we wait for this moment for any kind of infectious disease to pop up, and we attack it, and then we do the testing for it. And that's exactly like all these other companies. They sit around with these things, and then all of a sudden, when there's a chance to make a vaccine, we say we do good for the good for the world too, but there's we're a private company, we got to make money too.
Oh, by the way, Phil, if you're watching, look at the number. It's gone higher than when you were on tonight. So anyway, does that work well with Phil? I think so.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay. I think it
it
works
works well.
I think it works really well. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys hit a lot of topics, so that's good.
And also, when I'm with him alone, we're a lot more civil with each other, And then when
I'm with him alone, we don't talk politics at all.
Right, exactly.
That's even better. Yeah, and it's funny because we've had some car things like these cruises or these donations. We do a lot of donation charity work stuff. Mm-hmm. So I've seen a couple guys and they deleted me from Facebook because of Trump. And at the shows, they're, "Oh, how you doing? How's the family?" And so.
I just wish everybody would get along. I hope if Biden can't do anything else, God knows he's got a lot on his plate. I would not want to be the next president of these United States, but if there's anything that I hope he can do, it's maybe tone down the rhetoric, get a little more civilized discourse going on. Maybe even have a couple of Republican senators who don't go, "We're not going to do anything for you," but try to cooperate and try to, compromise.
Did you hear Biden? I think it must have been today. I've been not watching too much news, but I think it was today. And he was talking, saying, people who didn't vote for me, ask them, what are their concerns? And that's what he wants everybody to do, to see, what are their true concerns, other than blasting everything that they do on Facebook and stuff. But what is their concern? Because they always say, "Oh, they're going to take our guns," and they say stupid stuff like that, which none of that happens.
Yeah. Well, for instance, Jeff, what if Biden asked you, what's your main concern? What would your main concern be?
Well, my big concern today, I think, would be that people are getting sick all over the place.
Yeah.
And the president that we have won't admit to it.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you ask any older people, any older person, what their main concern is, and they'll probably say COVID.
Yep.
I don't know if you would get that out of a 35-year-old, you know. But hey, everybody, all you kids out there, we're second on the list for the vaccine.
Well, you know, I mean, for me and Phil and other people who are this age, it's one thing to be concerned about it when you're living at home and you got your wife, whatever, and you're very cautious and this and that. A lot of these older people who we know who are now all by themselves and they live in one of these, I don't know what you call this, like, you know, 65 plus places that all live in the same place. And they're all sick because they all connected.
Yeah, yeah.
And they can't get off of it.
Can't get off of what?
Out of the fact that they have COVID.
Well, I mean, but did they survive it? Are you saying they survived it?
Surviving it, but they can't even go outside. They're like jammed in the room.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, hopefully this vaccine will work. I mean, the Moderna thing seems really promising because it's 95%, did they say, or maybe higher than that?
Somebody asked me if I would take it. I says, you better believe it.
I'll be right there. Yeah. But it seems to be a better fit than the Pfizer thing, because the Pfizer thing, you have to bring in ice from the Arctic in order to just keep the thing cool enough, you know? And so that's a major problem.
Yeah, because then hospitals, nursing home, whatever they're doing, however they're administering, that they have to be ready for that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a, you know, but with the Moderna, I think it just has to be refrigerated, right? It's not any big deal, and all these pharmacies and stuff have that kind of refrigeration available. The only sub-zero freezing that they have anywhere, I think, are hospitals have them available. But you know, once that starts being distributed, once we get to a certain point of a certain amount of the population having been inoculated, I think we're going to start seeing that herd immunity kick in, okay? But we won't see it anytime soon with just people getting sick. Yes, Charlie?
Yeah, I think in the Moderna vaccine too, you only have to take once, whereas the Pfizer, you have to do it twice.
I heard somewhere you had to take it twice, but maybe I'm mistaken. You know? There's so much information running around.
Yeah.
You know, but the Moderna seems to be, to me, the best fit. You know, have you heard anything about this, Brian? About these various types?
No, just same as everybody else has heard.
Yeah, you don't get any inside information because all you do are the testing kits, which look like this. And the.
But it was funny because first I think it was Pfizer went to 90%, and then or was it Moderna went to 90, and then Pfizer was 94.
No, Pfizer was 90%, and then it was Moderna was 95. So now Pfizer says, "Oh, we've revised our estimates."
Yeah,
and we found it to be blah blah blah. You know.
Yeah, it was 94. Moderna was 94.5%. Yeah, and then Pfizer came back and said, "Oh yeah, now we're 95%."
Okay, so great. So now I line up at the local CVS and I get this vaccine, and now 95% effective in terms of me not getting sick. But what no one can answer me is, can I give it to my son? You know, can I give it to the next door neighbor who maybe refuses to get the vaccine, or somebody who thinks that this is?
I mean, because you
don't have it, and you don't, just because you're not showing symptoms doesn't mean you don't have it. But no.
What you're thinking of is you get the shot and then you've got it, And that's not really what happens here. They're not giving you a live virus.
No,
In
I
fact, this isn't
understand
even,
that, but
from what I understand, this isn't even a virus. This is some kind of manufactured antibody. I don't think having the antibody in your body would then make you have to necessarily give it to somebody else. It's not, when you get a flu shot, you don't go out and give everybody else the flu, do you?
I don't know that. Do you?
No, I know that.
I don't know that.
They wouldn't be giving us a flu
don't
shot
know
if they
that.
thought that all we would do would be super spreaders once we got the vaccination.
I don't know that. I know that the vaccine keeps me from feeling the symptoms. What I don't know is if I touch shit all over the place, if perhaps I'm spreading it to other people.
Well,
I don't know that.
It's not good to touch shit anyway. Yes, Charlie.
No, vaccines don't mask the symptoms of the disease. The vaccine actually keeps you from getting the disease. You don't have the disease to spread it to anybody because the vaccine won't let the disease live in your body.
Okay.
Even if you don't have symptoms, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like you have a case with no symptoms. You don't
Exactly. And you can spread it. Right.
Yeah. Did you happen to watch anybody? I'll tell you what happened was on every Saturday, Josh and Kevin and Patrick and I get together and we just sit around and talk to each other on Zoom. No show, nothing like that. And what we were doing the other night was we turned on C-SPAN and we were watching the Million MAGA March in Washington, D.C. Wasn't a million people to begin with. But there's more people than ever showed up in Washington for anything, you know. Anyway, we watched these, can I say morons? Giving speeches and talking and doing all their marching and everything, and just spreading just complete misconception of everything. You know, you know, they say, well, you know, it says, give us our votes back. We don't want you stealing our votes. Okay, tell me how and where they were stolen. Okay? No, if you think that somebody voting for Biden is stealing a vote for Trump, in an aesthetic way, yes. But in a practical way, you're not stealing votes from them. Okay? So don't even begin to give me that. But tell me how those votes were stolen. I mean, to begin with, what's that?
I was at the gym and I had to take a picture of this. Oh yeah, can you see it?
What is it?
So it's somebody at the protest, and this is on Fox because I tell you, Fox and the other one are right next to CNN, are right next to each other. There's a sign at that million person march. It said, "Trump, make America great again. Ban homo marriage."
Ban homo marriage.
Homo marriage. A big sign, walking with all the people.
Do they mean by that it shouldn't be mixed races? Yes, homo is also short for homogenization.
Homogenized.
Yeah.
Homogenized. Either way, it's wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the kind of bravery that these guys have out there. It's like unbelievable.
Well, no,
they think that they can walk around with a sign like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, and they probably don't even believe the sign they wrote. They're just trying to be aggravating. You know, but we watched this thing and we were just sitting here vamping on them. It's 2 hours of us having. I wish I'd broadcast the damn thing. It was just funny the way we were reacting to the picture. You know, and I just, you know, I just think that it's amazing that the stupidity of these people. I mean, I'm not saying they're stupid because they voted for Trump. They're stupid because of the signs they were carrying and the thoughts they were, you know, enveloped in. I mean, it was just amazing how bad things were.
And along this, on the subject of stupid, The only job for which I would hire Rudy
Oh,
Giuliani
yes, that's another one.
$1,000 a day is if
$20,000
the
a day.
job was to give me $21,000 a day.
Yeah.
That'd be the only job I could think of where I might pay him that much.
You know, this is the other thing is that he's charging, who's he charging? Trump or the
Yeah.
the Republican Party?
Yeah.
He's charging Trump, well, then he's never going to get paid.
No, he's not going to get paid anyway, but think it over.
He's charging Trump $20,000 a day. And supposedly he went into a court of law today and was so bad at it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but they say he was just so bad at it. He didn't know who the people were there. He had no concept of the situation. You know, he was just in there going, "We want a recount. We want all the Democratic votes thrown out."
Yeah.
Ah, God. Is there anybody else out there this morning, by the way, or this afternoon, or this evening? When is this? Who want to call? Because you can go over to Gabnet, and over on the right-hand side of the page, you can click on where it says "click here" to join us on Zoom, and then it will take you right here, and then I just admit you, and you don't need. I don't think you even have have to have the program installed, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
You know.
I think so.
So give us a call. I don't know where John is these days. He hasn't been here for. But then again, I haven't been here for 2 days. So you know, there's where everybody's probably not tuning in tonight because they're going, well, he's probably not going to show up tonight, so I'm not going to call. You know.
Did Phil make his donation to American Cancer yet?
No, what he's going to do is he's going to take the money and start a GoFundMe page in Ronnie Bennett's name.
But what are we funding?
We're funding for contributions in her name to the American Cancer
I see.
Society.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's very nice of him to do, and I think it's a way for him to spend the $20. You know. So anyway, yeah, and we'll let you know when that is, folks, and then you can all go over there and give money to.
Be happy to.
Yeah. You have particular feeling for the American Cancer Society for some reason, Robert? No?
No, it was an idea so that we didn't have to worry about exchanging money.
Oh, okay,
and-
so you could have come up with any
Well,
organization.
Ronnie had just passed, and frankly, my original thought was in your name, Phil's name, and Vernon's name, because you were all cancer survivors, and then Ronnie passed, and it became a logical outcome.
You know, it's funny. I don't think of myself as a cancer survivor.
Yet, indeed, you are.
I am, but
Yeah, I know.
you know, it wasn't like I didn't have pancreatic cancer like she had. Okay, that's having cancer. I didn't have lung cancer like some people get. That's cancer. Prostate cancer at my age, if you live long enough, you're going to get prostate cancer. That's all there is to it. Just a luck of the draw. So, you know, I got it. They did what they had to do. I have 0 PSA right now. Maybe it won't stay that way. Maybe all of a sudden it will flare up. They say sometimes after about a year or something, there's a flare up. But, I mean, I just don't think of myself as a survivor of cancer because I think that demeans all the people who truly survived cancer. All I did was sit under a machine while they radiated me, and then I went in for another operation, and they stuck some seeds in my prostate, and I was good to go. Goodbye. Haven't talked to my doctor since, you know. I talked to his nurse once because I went down to get all the tests that I had to have after the fact. But that's, you know, but anyway. So I guess it can just be us tonight. So I've got to think about, I got to keep coming up with things for us to talk about.
Talking about Lindsey Graham breaking the law.
Yeah, with talking
What
to,
an asshole.
who do you call the Attorney General?
The Secretary of State of Georgia.
Oh, Secretary of State of Georgia? And what do you
telling him that is there any way he could throw out valid votes for Biden?
Mm-hmm. And now
It breaks all kinds of election laws.
he said that wasn't what he did. But,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah,
Secretary
I
of State
believe
says
him, too.
that, no, that's what the Secretary of State says he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
And he's a Republican too.
yes, he is.
And there are other witnesses to the call.
Oh boy.
Mind you, though, on the floor of the Senate, he walked over and fist bumped Kamala Harris. I'm thinking to myself, there's a man that's playing both sides of the street.
Yeah. So to
Well,
speak.
he gets so little few opportunities to touch a woman. So,
Maybe.
you know,
Maybe.
that could be the reason why. How do you think Kamala's going to do
Just fine.
as a vice president? I think she's going to be terrific.
I think she'll be good.
That's fine.
Now, the big question is, if something happened to Joe, could you see her being president?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, like I said at the very beginning of all this, Joe will have the right people in place.
Mhm.
He's already started that with a lot of his picks,
Yeah.
and he's showing that he's taking this seriously. I mean, right out the gate, I feel very confident.
You know what I think is in Kamala's, what I think is an advantage to her is the fact that Joe was once a vice president, and therefore he realizes that in that job you can very, very quickly get lost. You know the old Mark Twain story about the two brothers that were born. One ran away to sea, and the other became vice president of the United States, and neither one has been heard from since.
Yeah, that's
Well,
pretty true. Huh?
I think here's what Biden did with Obama. When Obama said, "Will you run with me?" He said, "I'll only run with you if when you become president, I am in the room for every major decision, and I'm the last person you ask about it."
Yep.
You know, and Obama agreed to that, and I think Biden knows the advantage to that.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to give her the same privilege.
And he's
I
going to
agree.
make sure that she's relevant, you know, that
Yeah.
she's being given things to be in charge of
Yeah.
that make her relevant. He's been there.
Well, I don't think he's going to put her in charge of the Naval Observatory. You know.
No, absolutely not.
By the way, is that a naval observatory to this day? That's where the vice president lives, by the way, folks, in case you don't know.
That other building.
No, it's not the other building. It's all the way. It's somewhere else, like I don't even think it's in Washington, D.C. I think it's in Virginia or something. I don't know where it is exactly. Wait a minute, let me look it up here. I can look things up because there's a thing called the intranet. Have you heard of this? And a naval observatory. Oops.
Yeah, it's another building.
Huh?
Yeah, the vice president has his own residence. He doesn't live in the White House.
No, but it's a naval observatory.
That had a different name.
It is the Naval Observatory. That I know. Okay, where is
He's
it?
bumping his head on the telescope.
Observatory. Yeah, right. Who lives at the Naval Observatory? Number 1 Observatory Circle is the official residence of the Vice President of the United States, located in the northeast grounds of the U.S. Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C. Okay, I was wrong about where it was. The house was built in 1893 for its superintendent. So he's going to be living in the superintendent's house. That's fun. Okay, I'll go along with that. That sounds fine.
But what about Trump? Trump trying to start a nuclear war with Iran before he leaves the White House.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, I said that I was worried that Trump would try to do everything he could to fuck up everything before he left office, to leave the house a shambles. It's kind of like the person who gets evicted, and before they leave the apartment, they rip everything apart before they leave and then say, "Screw you, it's your problem." Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Who's this? I bet this is, look, Kevin.
Kevin.
How are you, Kevin?
You
Fine, how are you?
Yeah, did you write me last night to say you were having trouble with GoDaddy?
Yeah, it was me texting you. Yeah.
Yeah, because it said, I get things occasionally on Facebook that say, maybe Kevin. And
Oh yeah, that was a text. Yeah.
did you
wasn't
do it from,
Facebook.
did you do it from another machine than you normally do your texts from?
It was for my phone.
Oh, okay. So that's probably why it goes maybe Kevin.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, but you were having trouble too getting.
Yeah, because my email started going wacko, and then I looked on the when I went to sign in here, I went to the Gabnet, and the Gabnet was going wacko, so I went and checked my email, and it was screwed up. So I went to GoDaddy, and all the client was screwed up, and then I went to that downtime.com or whatever it was.
Oh, so you have your email account through GoDaddy?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
all my stuff through there, and I got a couple domains through there too.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So, I mean, but what did you do? You did like me, right? The first thing you did was blame yourself.
Yeah, it's something screwed up here. Yeah.
You
What am
know,
I doing wrong?
How many times have we had things go bad and it was them, not us? But we
Yeah.
always say, it must be me. I must be doing something
exactly.
wrong. You know, what did I do? Why is all of a sudden is, see, when I go apoplectic if my mail isn't working because it's almost my
Yeah.
lifeline at this point, you know?
Well, it's recently because GoDaddy also went to Outlook. They changed their platform. So they changed to Outlook. They went from whatever that platform they were on. They went to Outlook. So if you go to look at your email from the GoDaddy platform, you'll see it's all different.
Really? I went to mine and it wasn't. But then again, I'm using a different program.
Maybe they haven't migrated you yet.
No, I'm using Plesk. Okay.
Oh, I don't know what the hell it was before, but it was some weird platform they were using.
Yeah, this is
but
the
it all
same
went
one.
to Outlook.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think Hotmail went there too, right? MSN, like a couple years ago, I think. Hotmail.
Yeah, Hotmail did too. Yeah.
MSN went to Outlook also.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So now I only got one notification from my Hotmail stuff. Now I get about 50 of them every day because my KevTin went up haywire.
Yeah.
You know, all my other domains.
Well, you know what I got? First of all, earlier this week, I got a thing saying someone tried to sign on to your what was it? I can't remember what site it was. It was something not important, but I'm trying to remember what it was. But they said from Kuala Lumpur. Well, I'm not in Kuala Lumpur. It'll always say that if I use another machine I haven't used yet or whatever. But it said if you didn't sign on, this is not you signing on. So I had to change my password.
Yeah.
Where I went. And then last night I got one. It said somebody from somewhere else tried to sign on to Spotify. Now, apparently they didn't. Oh, I know. The first one was my Sony account for my Sony PlayStation and stuff like that. So I went in and changed it all. Okay. And I even did two-factor whatever, which I hate to do, but I did it for that because that one, somebody could go in and buy all kinds of games and stuff like that. And before they're gone, I've spent $1,000 and then I got to sort it out with Sony. And, but apparently I went on there and I looked to see for purchases and nobody tried to purchase anything. So they probably didn't get on.
They could have been phishing, trying to find, check it to see if it works.
Yeah.
You got to be careful that you change your password at the actual site, not through the email.
Yeah.
Oh, right. No, went to the site. I went to the site and changed the
Yeah.
password. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I went to, today I had to go over to Spotify and I changed that too, just so that nobody could get on there. But apparently they didn't get on. They just attempted. And that's what they wrote to me about. But I'm going, wow, because I had heard that a while back, there's a company called 123 Photo or something. And I went there and I bought, a photo from them because I needed a photo of something in particular and I needed it for some graphics for the site. And so I bought it. And it turns out that company got vandalized of 2 million accounts. So they're out selling that on the web somewhere. And I would imagine that some of my stuff got out there. I know the only password I know the only password I use there. So I've changed pretty much everything because on Chrome, if you have it and you go to your passwords, it'll say, oh, X number of your passwords have been compromised. Okay. Now that doesn't mean somebody's using them. It just means there's been some theft somewhere and whatever. And there were 40 of them. So I went through them the other day and got rid of all of them, changed everything, got rid of some of them. And I'm down to one that's compromised, and I don't care. Okay, on that one. But somewhere along the line, somebody got my information.
Yeah.
And was trying. But the thing is, they tried two separate things. It wasn't like 5 or 6 people trying Sony Entertainment, or trying Spotify. It was like Sony here, Spotify there. And I'm wondering how they figured out that I had anything to do with those particular sites. So
the dark web.
Has anyone actually had their identity stolen?
Well, as Larry Bubbles Brown says, I don't mind if they do, because then they'll have no life.
Right.
Yeah.
It happened to me. It's a bitch. It
Yeah,
really is.
I've been told, by these companies we've been hacked and your name may be on the list, but I've never had anything happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got in serious trouble. There was actually a court case. I'll tell you one game that they ran that I thought was pretty ingenious.
Yeah.
At the time, this is back about 20 years ago, we were living in a townhome, and regularly what would happen is the UPS people would just leave packages on our stoop. And so what they did was they apparently had my information. They developed a phony credit card, and they ordered a device from Apple. And they knew that UPS would deliver it and leave it on my stoop. And I guess they figured out what hours I was at work.
Wow.
And they were hoping that they could show up and pick it up off my porch. And voila, now they've got a brand new machine. What they didn't figure for was we were off that week because there's a week off in February for fuel conservation. And so I was home, brought the package in and said, what the fuck is this? I know I didn't order shit. I was getting stuff through the school system for free, so I wasn't ordering anything in those days. And I called Apple, and then I had to go through the local police. I'll tell you this, the last people on earth that are going to help you in a situation like that are the local cops.
Yeah.
They don't
know what to do.
They don't know what to do, and they consider the paperwork they're going to have to do for you nothing but a nuisance, because they're frankly toothless where it comes to these
Isn't this a federal crime because it could be considered interstate?
It's tampering with the mail, among other things. In my case, yeah. The other way, it actually happened twice within the same frame of time. I happened to be taking my son on sort of a college tour, and we were going all through Pennsylvania and looking at schools that he was considering. Well, when I got back home, my credit card called me up and said, were you in Pennsylvania last week? And I said, yes, indeed I was. And they said, were you also on the same day in California? No, obviously I was in one place, not the other. And the guy says, well, somebody spent $1 in a Home Depot. And I said, okay, here's what you need to know about me. If I pick up a hammer, it's 6 to 5 that I'm going to hurt myself. So if ever you see that I've spent money in Home Depot, I'm being held against my will. Do you know what they do? They're pretty shrewd, these some bitches. What they do is they take a phony card with your name and your goods on it, and they buy a pack of gum. And the reason why is they're testing to see if it works for $1.
Yeah,
because if it works for $1, they come back a half hour later and they buy a big fucking 4K TV.
Yep.
So they caught the $1 and they said, wait a minute, how could this dude be in Pennsylvania and California on the very same, within hours?
Yeah.
And that's how they caught the guy. They caught the guy in Las Vegas, of all places, and he was running a mill where it wasn't just me. There were like hundreds of, compromised people.
Mhm.
And fortunately, it didn't cost me any money, but I had to, oh man, it was a
What do they
nuisance.
do though? They find him then trying to use the card or whatever.
Well, in
They
this
know
case,
the
they kind of could backtrack using cameras and so on and so forth. They figured out, and they also had a bust in Las Vegas and found my name and social security number among them. And the bad part is you can go change your password, but you can't go change your social security
Nope.
number.
That's the
So
problem.
once they've got a hold of that, you're already, you're vulnerable to be
Now,
in
will the
trouble.
government change your social security number if you ask them
No,
to?
they won't.
They
No,
will
no,
not.
they will not.
So how do they
Those-
solve that problem?
Well, in this case, like I said, they did a bust in Las Vegas and found my name among about 50. And they wanted me to fly out to Vegas to tell my story. But believe it or not, I wasn't going to be compensated for the time that I was going to be away from work. So I said, I can't do that. Like my job kind of needs me. I'm a semi big shot where I work. So I never wound up showing up at the trial, but I had to do this on the phone interview for about 2 hours. It was almost a deposition of sorts.
Yeah,
The
that's
closest
what
I ever came to that was I had a thing where I can't remember. I think maybe it was a PayPal. No, PayPal didn't get a hold of me. Somebody got a hold of me, and I found out that some kid in Hong Kong, I assume a kid, was using my credit card or my PayPal account to try and purchase some video games. And it was about $80 worth of video games. I guess they were trying a small amount and then they try a larger amount later. And as soon as I saw this, I called up PayPal and I said, blah, 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 put a stop on this. I won't pay that. And this looks like my identity has been stolen. I said, well, let's change your password and we will investigate this and we'll get back to you. And they got back to me and they reversed the charge and did not charge me for it. They took the loss. Which so now when I want to do a lot of payment on stuff, I'll use PayPal because I know that if there's something wrong, they're good with it.
Yes.
They're not bad with it. But I
I'll
mean,
give you another piece of advice.
Yeah.
What you do is go to Experian or Transamerica, one of the three credit companies, and put a freeze on credit checks. And then anytime like you decide you're going to go buy a car or lease a car or you're going to redo your mortgage, you can temporarily release that freeze and then put the freeze back on, because people will try using your credit card information to sort of check you out and see what they can get away with.
yeah.
And if the companies know you're frozen, they immediately smell a rat and they'll block it for you.
Well,
Yep.
I'll tell you what I've
I
had.
got that on mine.
Yeah, what I've had to do, what I've had to change over the years, for years. I mean, when I say years, I mean like 20 years. I use the same password. And I never got any problems with it, although I hear it's a very common password. No, it's not password 123. But it's a
123
common
password.
password, but for some reason, in fact, we used to have Miranda Janelle on this channel. And one night we were doing the show and I said, well, I've been using the same password for so many years. And she says, is it something to do with blah, blah, blah? And she had most of it right. And I said, how did you come up with that? She says, it's common. But I didn't think it was common. If I told you what it was, I'm not going to tell you what it is here, you would say, well, gee, that isn't exactly common. But she says it is.
Two things I want to say about that, if I may.
Yeah.
In my last years with the Board of Education, I ran the email system and it was 10,000 users. And I can't tell you how many people had their password on a stick, like on a Post-it attached to their fucking machine, which is like, how stupid could you be? And the second thing is be careful on Facebook. There are a lot of these things that like are quizzes What's your mother's maiden name? What's your favorite color? Those are traps to try to get possible passwords out of you. Don't play that shit.
Right. But what I do is I have like this thing on my Apple, on all my Apples, and it goes across all of them because it goes through the cloud. It's called Notes, and I put all my passwords in there.
Right.
And I don't know how easy that is for them to get a hold of, but I would imagine Apple does a lot of security measures to make sure.
It's encrypted.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, but I was using a password system. What's the company that I was using? And I still have it on here, Dashlane. But every time I would, it just, Dashlane became very annoying. I just rather look it up on a list than Dashlane that fills it in every time, and then sometimes it doesn't fill it in. And does anybody use Dashlane? See?
No.
Yeah. So I made it so that it went back. You know what the best password grabber is and cache is? Your browser, Chrome. Chrome has a great one. I mean, all your passwords, it just immediately puts them in there. And many times when I don't know what my password is, I go to passwords, put in the name of the URL that I'm trying to get the password for, and then I simply put in my password for the machine, and it gives it to me. So I know it's there too. I don't even have to just worry about it being in my Apple app. But that's what I suggest, is that if you don't want to forget your passwords, get Chrome, use Chrome. They fill in the password for you, And every time you put in a new password, they say, "Do you want this?" And you go, "Yep," and it's then in the list. But
if it's out there, why can't somebody hack your machine and get your password from Chrome?
Listen, they can do anything, I suppose. I do have a firewall here, and it's not easy to get into my machine unless you're me. Okay, plain and simple. But
even you have a hard time.
Even I have a hard time getting into my machine. It's been witnessed by 2 nights.
They got to come in and do it.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Yeah. But Kevin, I was telling them how the other night you and I and Josh were, the three of us, sitting here watching the Mega Man March or Mega
comedy show,
Mega Millions Watch or whatever.
Still got a stomach ache from laughing so hard.
Who?
I said I still have a stomach ache from laughing so hard.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, these were some of the biggest morons ever. It should have been the Million Moron March.
That's what it was.
I mean, it was just amazing.
I even taped it.
And didn't they have the woman who didn't they have the woman who was elected to Congress who was a QAnon?
Oh God!
Yeah, she was up there. What was that other woman? What was it? Babes, women. Babes.
Oh, Reagan Babe.
Reagan Babes.
ReaganBabe.com. Yeah.
What the hell was that? She looked like she rolled out of a bowling alley with.
She had
cigarettes.
If I could say this without get monetizing, because it is a very kind of hairdo, she had a JFL, fucked look.
Yeah.
Her hair was all like she just rolled out of bed somewhere and somebody had been shagging her righteously, and she.
Yeah, it was some show.
Yeah.
And then we were looking for the see if, the part where Trump drove through the crowd, but we didn't see that part. He apparently drove right through the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
unreal.
Yeah, no, it was really some real morons. And I don't want to look. I don't want to be demeaning of morons, of actual morons. I feel sorry for special children, but. When I gotta tell you this, I just remembered this. When I was a kid and I was studying psychology in school, okay, this was in the textbook. That taught me stuff. And it said 0 to 25 IQ is idiot. 25 to 50 is imbecile, if I remember correctly. Now get this, 50 to 70
It's
was
more.
moron. Okay. Are you ready for this? 70 to 85 is American Indian.
Oh my God.
That was
What?
in a psychology book that I was taught. And for a while, I actually thought American Indians fell between 70 and 85 until I suddenly realized that was some bogus crap.
Who wrote the book? Buffalo Bill?
No, I think it was Donald Trump, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
are you a little sick of all these Republican senators who just somehow, what are they? Are they afraid of Trump?
They have no brains. What the heck is
No, but you say they have no brains. It's like they're afraid of Trump.
And then Lindsey Graham walks by and fist bumps Harris
Yep.
on the Senate floor. I mean, I'm going, what the hell was going on
He's
there?
playing both sides of the
Well,
street.
now, I'll tell you what it is. This is why I think Biden isn't going to have the worst time with the Senate, is because they're all pals. I mean, you're part of a elite bunch, okay? And so they kind of stick up for each other. And I think that Biden could walk in there and go, come on, I was one of you guys. Now let's work this thing out. He can talk their language. And Kamala Harris, same thing. I mean, does she have to automatically hate Lindsey Graham because of his politics or his idiocy? No, she really doesn't. He's another senator, and hi, good to see you again. You haven't been here in a while. Well, I've been running for vice president.
Here, sit on this stick.
Yeah. What's Newsom going to do about a senator from California? Undoubtedly, he's going to put a Democrat in there because he's got to appoint a new senator.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, there's a big push out here to put a Hispanic senator in there.
Really?
Saw a lot of people pushing for that outside
Yeah.
the city hall or wherever, outside the
Yeah.
Sacramento to put a Hispanic person out there, which is fine, whatever. If there's a decent one,
Well, I'm very happy for her. She's had the faith for a long time, and she's worked her way up the ranks, being district attorney for San Francisco, and then the attorney general for the state of California, ultimately a senator. She's worked her way up in that job. I mean, some people could say she fucked her way up too, but I mean, she was Willie Brown's girlfriend at one time, and I think I think she went with
he was
Gavin.
on TV the other night, and I couldn't look at him the same way.
Yeah, right. And wasn't she? Didn't she go with Gavin Newsom for a while?
Did she? I think so.
I think so. When she was a district attorney of San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had to cut that one short.
I don't care. I mean, I think she's smart, and it doesn't diminish her in any way. I think she's been able to hold adequately do whatever job she got. And in the meantime, she had a lot of fun doing it. And then she married this guy. Was she married before? At some point she had kids, and I don't know if she had kids by this husband.
Yeah, I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he said he was leaving his business to go work out there too.
Well, I think that's a very liberated thing to do. The wife got a good job someplace, and you leave to go with her because she got the better job.
That's right. Let her go to work.
Yeah. Now but he's very successful, isn't he? In his own right.
Yeah.
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 So he can probably leave whatever company he's working with and still reap the benefits from it.
Yeah, he's a law.
That's kind of like if Brian left his job, he'd still reap the benefits of it, right, Brian?
Sure.
Oh, by the way, I got to just tell you this quickly. Marjorie and I, we've been shopping around for insurance because we got to first we got our supplemental. We got that all taken care of. Then we had to take care of the prescription. They don't make it easy on you. To try and figure out how this whole thing works is absurd. I mean, you need a college degree to go through that. Am I right, Robert?
Yes.
I mean, are you of the age where you have to go out and get the prescription for Medicare?
Yeah, we do it through my old employer.
Oh yeah, you said you do it through your old employer.
Yeah, so it's easy.
But negotiating that is just, it's a bear. Because there are like several plans. There's the $33 plan and there's the $79 plan. Well, which one do you want? Well, why should I take this over that? And it's just on and on and on. You know, the other thing, just getting the supplemental insurance, simple. You know, they're all about the same price and you get it. You know.
I think the hardest part is listening to all these fucking commercials.
Oh, well, forget it. MSNBC
Christ.
MSNBC should be known as the Medicare network. You know.
Wearing me out.
Yeah. Come on, you only have to tell me once. You know?
Yeah. Enough. I'll call. I promise.
And it's a free call.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's a free call. It costs you nothing to call, right? Our operators are standing by, and then it says licensed insurance agents. Well, wait a minute. If you're not selling me anything, why is there a licensed insurance agent there?
That isn't my favorite commercial, though. My favorite is for these drugs that they tell you all the wonderful things the drug does. I'll pick a name, Jardiance, and then it says, don't take Jardiance if you're allergic to it. Oh.
Don't eat grapefruits.
Fuck.
Well, no, I love how it's like, this will give you a full and more enjoyable sex life. Side effects may be,
Yeah.
you know,
Your
blah, blah,
dick
blah, your
falls
dick falls off, you know.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's always, if you notice, when they start showing the contradictions on the bottom of the screen, or when the announcer is saying the contradictions, to get you away from hearing the contradictions, there are pictures of people playing volleyball, taking their kids out for a walk, petting a puppy, you know, and you're going, and he's going, and you may have, anal warts and painful rectal itch. Do not use this drug if you're allergic to chocolate. I mean, it just goes on and on.
Infection of the perineum. Oh, no.
Wait a minute.
No.
That's the taint, folks.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They don't show you the picture.
No, but they go on and on about this stuff, and it's amazing, you know. And then the ones I love, we just got enough time for me to say this one. They will say, this one, you know, if you have cancer and you take this drug, you're going to live longer. That's basically the pitch. And then this thing on the bottom of the screen says, average life expectancy added is 2.5 months.
Oh, my.
And how much does it cost? And I look it up, and it's like $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know,
Jack Daniels would do a better job.
Jack Daniels would do a better job. Right.
Have to pay 2 more bills.
Hey, there's our theme song. Boy, this has been nice tonight. I'm glad I finally got back on. And we're able to do a show. We'll do another one tomorrow night and see if we can get it right then, too. Hey, Robert, thank you for joining us. Brian, always a pleasure. She's out somewhere, right?
She's playing games right now.
Oh, good.
It's almost bedtime. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What game does she like? Anything in particular?
Roblox.
Roblox.
I play with her Roblox, yeah.
Okay. Have her play The Last of Us. She gets to kill people in it. It's really terrific. Charlie Wallace, thank you. And, of course, thank you to Jeffrey Stein and Kevin. What did it say? Count them against and again and again. Oh, count them again and again and again. You lose. Anyway, everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give you a big wave goodbye back. Okay, there we go. Okay, there they go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our citizen panel for tonight. Thanks to all of them. We'll get another one getting together tomorrow night, same time. We'll be back again tomorrow night, 10:30, right? Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, especially now, be safe out there and wear a goddamn mask. It'll save your life, okay? It'll save the life of somebody else, too. Night, everybody.